I'm an ordinary guy and I did an extraordinary thing. Yeah, it's extremely important to have someone that will have that kind of belief in you, but no one's going to give you that belief unless you show how much you kind of want it, right? It's about to happen. This is it. I'm about to punch on with Manny Pacquiao.
And you punch hard, you win, and then what?
Hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard.
Yeah, 100% of the time.
Welcome to the Mastering Podcast. I'm the host, Magnus Olsen, and today I'm joined by co-host Ryan Chilaporte. I think I've got that about as close as I've
That's
ever.
good. That's good. You nailed it. I'll give you that one.
And also joining us today is Don the Powerhouse Sanka. How are you, boys?
Always good when I'm next to you, mate.
Mate, you're looking dapper.
Yeah, well, I thought someone's got to bring the quality of this thing up, so...
You're making us all look bad, mate.
Or I'm trying too hard.
All right, today we are sitting down with one of Australia's most inspiring athletes and figures, former WBO welterweight champion Jeff Horn, known around the world for his unforgettable victory over Manny Pacquiao. Jeff's story goes far beyond the boxing ring, from being bullied at school to becoming a teacher to stepping in the ring and shocking the world. His journey is one of resilience, discipline, and mastering adversity. Now Jeff uses his platform to motivate others, speak about mental health, and show what it means to fight for more than just titles. Today's conversation is going to be more than just grit, growth, but more importantly, what it truly means to master yourself. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks for having me.
Let's kick off. Now, how does a kid from Acacia Ridge, growing up, blue-collar background, go on to become a world champion? Give us a little bit of your backstory.
Look, I grew up in Pollara. That was where I grew up, which is very close to Acacia Ridge, by the way. I went to Acacia Ridge.
That's in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, just for the listeners. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Now you've thrown me with what the question was.
Between that and Manny Pacquiao.
Let's just clarify. So you've got a Master of Business. I've got a Year 10 education. I did fail English. So, yeah, excuse the pronunciation.
I thought he's fought someone different.
I can't even think of what you said anymore. You just said Pacquiao, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I think you knew what I meant.
He's like, that was in Brisbane. Yeah, good start.
That's it.
Suncorp Stadium.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how was life growing up?
Look, life growing up was fairly normal. I had a normal, upbringing with parents and siblings. I've got two older sisters and a younger brother. I guess the main problems I had, growing up was at school, in primary school, probably the later grades of primary school, and that's where I struggled with bullying.
Oh, wow. So you experienced bullying as a...
Yeah, 100%. And I think I'm one of millions of people that have gone through bullying, right? So it happens to a lot. And
Well, I was going to say, it must be hard having two older sisters. They're the worst bullies of all.
Look, I did struggle with some things with my sisters. Look, they were fine, emotionally fine, but physically, I guess, when I would try doing things when I was a lot younger and then getting kicked off the bed and whacking my head and things like that.
I know my older sister definitely bullies me more than all my brothers combined. They're a menace. You have to pick up boxing to be able to protect yourself from them. But to go back into the question, like, when did you really start to notice or pick that up for yourself with that bullying? What opened your eyes to kind of realize that you, needed to change your mindset, or you moved away from that? When did you start to realize that?
Look, it's hard when you're a kid to have that mindset at all, to think about what can you do. It's just like you just want it to stop.
Yeah.
And you want people to start treating you better. But I guess I was lucky enough to have family around me, close family, like mum supporting me and dad, and trying to let me know things that I can do to get rid of it. And some of those things that came at me weren't always the proper things that you should do. Like Dad says, there's a really soft spot on your nose that you can hit and really hurts, but it's not the right thing to do. And I did do that occasionally, and it wasn't the outcome that I wanted.
Yeah.
So did your fighting come from that, inside of that learning to defend yourself?
No.
Or did you defend yourself?
No, I don't think my love for boxing and me being good at it came from me being bullied as a kid.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a professional athlete in some capacity. I always thought it was going to be in soccer or football. And yeah, like that would have been really cool, and to be able to do that for a living, and I probably would have been able to do that for a lot longer than I did boxing for. But life chose how it is, and there was a little bit of a segue into potentially rugby league, but I chose boxing.
So what took you down the path of boxing? Because it's very different to rugby league or any football.
Yeah,
pathways are different as well.
Yeah, look, that was the problem. I started very late. So I started even rugby league, trying to make it in rugby league very late. I was 18 years old and trying out for teams. It's just like expecting to get up in the ranks and know what to do at those ranks. I couldn't do. So boxing was the more I knew I was good at it. I noticed that I had some potential and some real talent there, and that's where I stuck.
So when did you start getting into boxing? You said at 18. So usually kids get into either little athletics or a sport very young, around 12, 13 years of age, and then they find their feet when they get into their teens.
Yes. So I was doing, as I said, I played soccer from grade 1 all the way to grade 12.
Yeah.
Didn't make it as I wanted to be a professional soccer player, but that's when I chose, okay, what am I going to do? Then I went to rugby league, as I said, and boxing kind of at the same time. Which door do I choose? Chose the boxing door, and to go, okay, I'm going to train to get in the boxing ring.
Was there any particular reason why you chose boxing?
I chose boxing.
Where was that moment when you said, okay, I've got a future here?
I guess it's just because I was good at it. I guess the natural ability of me in boxing was seen by my mentor and trainer, Glenn Rushton, and he said, I can make you a world champion one day. I can get you to the Olympics in a few years' time and make you a world champion. I was like...
And this was when you were 18? Around 18? Or?
Yeah, around 18. So it was probably 19 or 20 by the time I had these discussions with him about boxing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have my first match till I was 20 years old.
Yeah, wow. Your first match was when you were 20?
Yeah. So it's pretty late.
I'd say that's probably like a good age, like 18, like, with training, fighting, you've first 2 years, like first 6 months, you're just trying to figure out if you like getting hit.
Just because you get hit a lot, right? And it hurts. When you first get punched in the nose, it's not
there's also that argument, right? You probably got into competitive fighting after most of your development's been done. There's a lot of research right now going around. Like it could be why we're talking to you with a full set of brain and what you're doing and everything. No, it is.
Yeah.
I'm always curious.
Let's just put some perspective around for our listeners. Ryan, just give us a little bit of your background, mate, because you've put the gloves on more than once, just for our listeners.
Yeah. So I've trained boxing since I was probably a little bit younger, probably around 11 or 12. Worked in security, protective services, so had a few scraps around there as well. Had a few fights in boxing. Moved over into MMA, trained MMA. Now I'm currently training Muay Thai. And
done more than me.
So no one came to you and said, mate, you're good enough to go to the World Championships?
I think for me it was more discipline as well, because you have to, and I'm sure Jeff can attest this, you have to make a choice, and it's all or nothing. There is no in between. There is wake up, live in the gym, go to bed in the gym.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it isn't a sport that you can take kind of on a part-time basis. You need to put 100% effort into it, and it shows when you're in there if you haven't, and that's when you have your losses.
There's no downtime. There is literally, you live, breathe, and that's it. And your coach, you'll see your coach more than your partner. And so when I was prepping for fights, it's intense. And I found with my businesses and where I wanted to get in my professional life, it just didn't align. So it was for me personally, I was like, I do like having a brain somewhat.
This is useful. I don't want to lose this.
Yeah, I was like, I should probably give back that and being a paramedic. I was like, saving people, hurting people is a bit contradictory. So,
yeah, you knew all the risks.
yeah.
Well, I know the nitty gritties of exactly what could potentially be happening, but you
And
did.
this is the thing, like we've spoken to a lot of elite athletes. What separates an elite athlete from the rest of us? It's just that drive that you guys have. For some reason, you want to excel at that at the expense of everything else once you realize you're good at it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to get an understanding of. Where does that come from? How does that sort of click into place? How do you tick after that?
I guess that's just a switch inside someone's head, right? They go, have they got it or they don't? Do they want it bad enough or they don't want it bad enough? So it's just, I guess, wiring in my head that I was like, I am going to put 100% into this and I'm going to do whatever I can to be the best I can at this sport.
Wow.
Gotta have that dog, man.
Yeah.
You see a lot of fighters kind of come in and they're like, oh, whatever, man. You've got to get in there. You got to hate losing. You got to wake up every day and it's got to piss you off at night.
Yeah, you do not want to lose. If I remember dreaming even losing a match, I would go back and redo that dream because I need to win that match and I need to see myself winning. So it was a never say die attitude.
You don't even want to dream.
It's next level with fighting again as well. Like, and I think that's why some people can start it a little bit later, because you see most sports, and if you don't start it at a super young age and get those foundations and get that footwork and everything, but like fighting is one of those sports where like someone can walk in at a later age, like Anthony Joshua or some of those other boys, and they just pick it up and they're freaking monsters, absolute monsters, and it's just something different.
Yeah,
I don't think that's one thing that can be trained. You either have it or don't.
I think that's a great thing about boxing as well. It's not a sport that you have to start when you're really, really young, so you don't need to be getting punched in the head when it could be affecting you more for later in life. And it's a sport you can probably pick up when you're a little bit older.
So people, I think, as a non-fighter, you look at it as in it's about hitting people or about getting hit more than you're not going to get hit. So let's just talk through that for a minute. What do you do to avoid being hit, and how much training is actually focused on evasion?
Look, that's a tough one. It's a tough one to kind of talk about, but basically you learn a lot on the job, unfortunately. Like you learn. If you sat that your coach says slip and keep your head moving and you're not doing that, you learn pretty quickly that you're not doing that and you're getting smacked in the nose or you're getting hurt in some way and you go, okay, all right, I've got to improve. I've got to keep doing this. And looking back at those things, you go, I can be better.
So the tip is just to keep moving.
Yeah, 100%. I guess that's with everything in life, right? If you keep moving, you can't stay still and get hit.
Yeah.
Head off the center line.
What about you, Ryan? What do you deal with as far as the unpredictability of fighting, not knowing and trying to anticipate?
Moving from boxing into Muay Thai, that was definitely an experience because I'd never had to worry about leg kicks before or body kicks or elbows or knees. So that was definitely an experience because of, you get down moving your head, and even then when you say you get it down, you don't really. You still get punched. But I think the best lessons have always been just fighting people that are so much better than me again and again and again, and fighting the people you hate to fight again and again and again until you kind of go, okay, well, I'm more comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was your story too, wasn't it, Jeff?
Yeah.
Like when you were amateur, you got thrown in the ring with people a lot apparently better than you, and you got touched up on more than one occasion.
I definitely did. I was lucky enough to have that. I don't know what it is that you say it is, but like to go into the state titles, a little bit of luck that the last state title holder wasn't there at that, and I ended up winning the state titles in first 3 fights that basically I had ever. And then straight to national title. So that's getting thrown in the deep end, right? In my 4th amateur boxing match, and I'm at the national titles against all these champions out there, and that's where I lost straight away. I had my first loss, first match, came up against the champion, and he taught me a lesson. And he never beat me again after that.
Man, I everything I know about boxing, I've never done boxing, never got into a boxing ring. The people I see is what I see on TV or in the movies. Like, they don't look like you. right? You look
Just
like
explain that.
Yeah.
Well-
Can you dive into that super deep?
it's you
This
look
is a
like
diss all right.
What
You
does
look
a
like-
boxer looks like?
he looks like the nice guy that you want to have a conversation with or ask for a favor, right? Not the kind of guy that if you want to pick a fight with someone,
They're the worst ones, man. They're
You
always
don't
the
have
worst ones.
you don't have that look about you.
Yeah.
So
I guess that was an advantage sometimes, right? Because people would look at me and go, "This guy, I'm going to walk over the top of him."
did that happen? That's where I was going to get at.
It has happened. It has happened before,
Yeah.
and I think they underestimate the niceness that I can give.
Yeah.
It means nothing when I step through those ropes, because when I'm in training, when I step through those ropes, that's exactly where I know I have to pummel this person as much as I can, and I will not give up, and I'll do the best I can at doing that.
Yeah,
It's a
wow.
respect thing though as well. It's like it's a respect to the other person. Like outside the ring,
Yeah.
we're all well and good, but inside, out of respect, I know the training that you've put in. I'm going to give everything. Otherwise, I'd be pissed off if I got into the ring with someone that didn't take it seriously. And they were just, mucking around and out of respect.
Normally they get knocked out. That's normally what happens. Those type of people that don't take it seriously at all. If you take your eye off the ball for just a second, that's when you get guys getting hurt.
So talking about preparation, to the listeners out there that don't understand, I guess, what goes into preparing for, let's say, a title fight. So let's say your Manny Pacquiao fight. Did I pronounce that right?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
He said Manny Pacquiao. I don't know how, but
So your preparation for the Manny fight, what did that look like?
Look, it was months in the lead up, and I think it took longer because Manny threw in the spanner of, maybe not. Maybe I'll go fight in Saudi for this against Amir Khan or something. I know that got thrown in the works.
So the fight kept getting postponed, is what you're saying?
It did once, yeah. So I think we had an initial date, but then he was like, I might not do it. Being hard to get, I guess, because I was lucky enough to get the phone call that I was going to be fighting Manny Pacquiao, but to get another one, it was just insane.
So I want to get back to Manny Pacquiao, but before that, I want to sort of go back a little bit.
How do you say that again?
Manny Pacquiao.
Pacquiao.
Yeah, not Pacquiao.
Okay.
Because we all know how.
I say Pacquiao.
Pacquiao, right?
Pacquiao.
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 He said Pacquiao.
Yeah.
It's a different person.
Pacquiao.
That's a different person.
Put it to a vote to the listeners.
How do you think?
I don't think it really.
I don't think he cares, right? We just go with Manny.
It's like me getting called horny. I don't care.
Horny. I'm sure you like horny better than horny. So going back to the 20-year-old, you said you started at 18 and, at 20, you got tapped on the shoulder and said you're good enough to go to the Olympics or become a world champion.
I was probably at about 19 or so that Glenn's gone, you could be good at this. Like, I can get you to the Olympics in 4 years' time and make you a world champion one day. And I was like, okay, this guy's crazy, but let's jump on the train.
See, how did you get there from getting tapped on your shoulder, then end up fighting someone like Manny Pacquiao?
A lot of hard work and that mindset that is the only thing that's important to you, right? And that was the number one. So my number one was being the best I can be at boxing, and my belief as well, which Glenn got in my head, was I could be a world boxing champion. So I had the belief I could be the best, and I'd fight no matter who was in front of me, and I would always believe I could beat them because I had the answers to beat anyone.
Just expand on that, because I see that as being super important. Like, you've had someone like Glenn in your corner for a very, very long time, and he was that bloke, like you pointed out, when you were just starting out, that said, mate, you could be world champion. And having somebody that's got that level of belief in you, and how important was that?
Yeah, it's extremely important to have someone that will have that kind of belief in you, but no one's going to give you that belief unless you show how much you kind of want it, right? So I was showing that I was interested in this sport and I was doing the best I could at it. So he was like, yeah, you've got what it takes. I think I can see you've got the mentality, you've got the skills. I can just, obviously I didn't have the amount of skills that I needed at that point in time where he said you could, but that's like anyone can do it. They've just got to have that work ethic to get there.
Talent's one thing, effort and belief, and then the dedication is another thing, right? Then that's it.
100%.
You got to have a bit of dog in you, as you said.
What's that saying? Hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard.
Yeah, 100% of the time. But I also think as well, it goes to show the talent of the coaches in Australia, like especially like all the boys that are coming through now, like, you know, Fortitude Boxing just over there with Connor Wallace and all those boys.
Steve Della doing the training there.
Yeah,
He's
Steve's
doing a great job with all the fighters.
absolutely amazing coach. Like all those boys down there, and it's just amazing to see the talent kind of start to get recognized. And I think that was really to kind of start with yourself. You know, but prior to that, I think it's Australian boxing. We've had a few people, but then after Jeff kind of blew.
Or when a school teacher comes out and becomes a world boxing champion, everyone goes, well, maybe I can do it.
That's the other thing, right? Like the nice person becomes a world champion in boxing.
Yeah. I have to ask, like, with speaking of like the new boxers, so 5 years ago yesterday, you fought Tszyu.
Mm-hmm.
How was it?
5 years yesterday.
Yeah, 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You mean?
I had a
Been kidding.
notification come up.
Ryan's
Like-
doing his research. Good on you.
Yeah. No, I love Tim. Like, I love what he's doing. And my first actual physical fight that I got to go watch was him in Gold Coast when he knocked out, I think it was Carlos and one of the boys within like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Bit of a waste of money, but like, look, I'm not gonna go into that. But like, how is it like the difference of like fighting like one of the up and comers kind of in this scene as well? Because he you know, he's a little bit younger, and was it almost like that handing of the torch a little bit?
Yeah, I guess so. That's what they said it was going to be, didn't they? They said it was going to be the handing of the torch. I didn't think it was going to be at the time, but I guess that mindset of me of not worrying too much about Tim is what made that a super dangerous fight for me. And I underestimated how good he was because I'd fought in all international opponents, world title holders. I was like, this guy's not going to have anything. But that goes to teach me a lesson as well. Don't underestimate an Australian fighter.
No.
How do you deal with that? Like, I think that boxing's such a confident sport, and when you're on top and you know that, right, you've won, but how do you deal with when you get smacked around a little bit or you get knocked out?
Look,
How
I
do you pick
guess
yourself back up?
it does take some time, and you need to get back in the gym and just doing exactly what you know you should be doing, and that normally can kind of fix things up. But yeah, it's a lot of soul searching and finding out, and I think that's exactly what's happening to Tszyu at the moment, and he's really trying to find himself again, and hopefully he can come back.
He's a warrior. He'll come back.
Yeah, honestly, I thought the second time he versed Fundora, I was like, surely
So
he's
did I.
gonna. Yeah, I that
Thought
first
for sure he's going to get this guy this time.
absolutely kill
It's
him.
like Fundora had like some super confidence from the first one. I think Tim was a bit destroyed from the couple of losses he had in a row.
Yeah,
His confidence was probably not quite up there and just didn't go his way, which is what happens in life. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way, and
well,
that's it.
It goes to show as well just how easily your rhythm can get disrupted, and you see it. You see these fighters that are just absolutely cracker fighters, and honestly, that first one he lost, like bit of a absolute fluke, to be honest, with that head gash and everything.
It was frustrating. It kind of happened
to watch, and now you know he's disrupted, but. Again, like coming back from that yourself, like is it just rebuilding that confidence again and again and again, training again and again?
Yeah, I guess so. It happened to me against Michael Zarafa, right? Like I underestimated him just like I underestimated Tim, and he beat me the first time. So I was just like, wow, okay, now really got to go back to the drawing board and go, I'm going to train absolutely properly, do everything right, what I normally do with other fights, and came back and didn't put in the performance of my life, but I got him. I won the fight, which is what the most important
win is a
thing
win,
for me.
man.
Exactly. Which is what set up the Tim fight.
Yeah.
Which is what I thought was going to be probably an easier kind of match, and you live. I'm sitting here, and he was my last fight in my career. So well done to Tim.
What do you think is the pinnacle of your fighting career is?
I think it's obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know that's the obvious question, but I'm asking
I'm
him.
going to pronounce it again, though.
No, hold on. For us, looking from the outside in, that looks like the most obvious answer, right? But it's that's the most. Oh, like there's a lot of money involved in it. There's the audience there, but as a fighter for you, was that it? Was
100%. Like that's the biggest moment where everything was leading up to. I guess all the little wins along the way,
Yeah.
even though they weren't little wins, they were massive wins at the time. But everything in perspective, when after that happens, it was just life changing. I didn't realize how much that would change my life beating Manny Pacquiao, but it was insane. So he was definitely the pinnacle of my boxing career, and to have that belief at that point in time is what I needed.
Tell us a bit about leading up to it, because did you think you could beat him? Manny Pacquiao at that time was up there, right? Like he probably took.
Still is, man.
Yeah.
He's an amazing monster, right? Like, but he probably took that fight for granted a little bit too. It's the same way from what you're saying.
Exact same as what I've done in my fights against Tim, Michael, whoever. Is when you underestimate someone just a little bit, it's a big advantage when you're in there with them and you're going, whoa, I did not expect this. They were to be that good. And I think that's what I did to Manny Pacquiao. I was nice to him, respectful. He thinks just a school teacher. I'm going in to get paid $10 million to go knock out this school teacher. Easy work. And he just basically came for a holiday to Australia, and that's not what he got.
Yeah.
Just describe for us, I'm just intrigued, what was it like? Like there's 50,000 plus people at Suncorp Stadium and you're walking out there. What was the song that you walked out to?
It was Seven Nations Army White Stripes. So that's my walkout song for my fights from, I don't know when, very early in my boxing career where I decided that was the one that pumped me up. And when I hear that, that means it's not long now till I'm throwing.
So do you remember what was going through your mind as you stepped into the ring?
No.
50,000 people cheering.
Yeah, look, I was focused on the ring, I think.
So
like in that moment in time, walking out, I knew I couldn't let the crowd affect me. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll hit hands and stuff like that. But my focus was, I've got to get in that ring. Like that ring is my destination right now, and that's exactly where I'm walking to right now to fight the fight of my life. So that was my focus. I'm on my way there.
Do you think that's the best boxing performance you've ever given of your career, or what was like the highlight boxing performance skills wise? Looking back on it, looking at the videos, you can go, man, I just did everything right that day. Would you say?
Look, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good performance. I guess it's hard to tell because of the skill level and styles of different fighters. Yeah. It's hard to go, oh, that was the best one. But I can remember putting on a clinic against Rico Mueller here in Brisbane and outboxing his ears off basically and stopping him in that fight. But the Manny Pacquiao one surely has to, even in my head, because it was my breakout fight.
Yeah.
And the biggest one, it has to be the one that I have to go. That has to be the top.
How did you prepare for that fight, in mentally and physically? But mentally would be the biggest fight, right? To get into.
I guess the mental part, I found it reasonably easy. Like I got the questions all along through my career is, he was my target, world title, the best out there. I want to beat a world champion to become a world champion. And I guess the belief was there. Like I had that already. So that was my mindset walking in there and going around in that fight.
Was there less pressure, do you think, because you're the underdog?
Yeah, there is less pressure, I guess, when you're an underdog, but you still have all the pressures. Even when you are that,
home crowd pressure.
You have other people going, you're going to do really well.
Self-expectation.
And yourself, I'm like, this is what I've said to myself. I'm going to become. I'm going to do everything I can to get there, and I believed it. So if I was to stuff up on that occasion, I've let myself down as well.
I suppose it would have been strange as well. Like I've always found, like fighting an opponent when you realize they're a person. And you're doing your face off and there's all these ideas thrown out and you can watch the videos and you can do that. But then you're standing across and you're getting into the ring and you're like, you're a dude.
Yeah.
I suppose that would have been ringing into your head walking into the ring and seeing him across. It's like real now. Like we're going to punch the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I guess so. That's when you're getting announced and the crowd's cheering and you're like, it's about to happen. This is it. I'm about to punch on with Manny Pacquiao.
And you punch hard, you win, and then what?
Yeah, the dreams come true at that point when it gets announced. And,
Then the
life
happens?
changes. I guess everything from that point, it was a blur. I was getting pulled left, right, and center. Everyone wanted a piece of me, like radios, TVs, just the people, the normal person out there. I felt like I had to hide under a rock, like turn everything off and hide. I couldn't even go to my house and chill because I'd have paparazzi sitting outside my house waiting to get a photo.
Wow.
And so it was a crazy time and not something I kind of expected after a win from him. But I guess who would thought? I don't think about everything. I guess the money was going to change, but the fame part and everything that comes with that type of fame, that's what was really, really hard.
How was it financially? You said he came for a $10 million payout.
Yeah.
How does it work for the opponent?
I was guaranteed a purse as well, so I was guaranteed $500,000 to fight
Big
him.
difference between 10 million.
Big difference. But big difference to what I was getting paid before. So before that, I was on a $25,000 a fight deal.
Wow. Okay.
That might have been different if you weren't signed with a promoter, but I was signed with a promoter. I was getting paid weekly. I had sponsors on board as well, and it took like that amount of money was good for me back then. But to get that opportunity for $500,000 plus the pay-per-views.
Yeah. So you get a share of the pay-per-views.
Which ended up making it nearly $1 million.
Okay.
Anyway.
Wow. How old were you then?
Good question.
Not a bad day at the office.
2017.
Yeah. A while ago.
How many years is that? 8 now? Is it?
Yeah.
I was about 30.
We were all younger.
I was about 30.
We were all younger.
I was about 30 at that time.
Okay. So what happened after that? So once the dust settled, how do you plan from that and then take the next step?
Well, I guess you're on a high for quite some time, right? Like it was a struggle to probably sleep that night, but it took a while, and then it was like, okay, now you have to keep fighting. And I was under contract anyway. Bob Arum had already signed me for a 2-fight deal if I was to win. Yeah. If I was potentially to become a winner against Manny Pacquiao. So next one was like, okay, next fight. It was just like they want to hear this. People want to hear this straight away. I was like, okay, we're gonna figure out who we're gonna fight next and where we're gonna fight.
So who was next?
Gary Corcoran.
Okay.
He was next. He was the next guy. He was in the ratings for the WBO, and we're like, all right, we'll get this guy to come to Australia and fight, and we'll sell out another venue.
Yeah. How did that go?
Yeah, good. He was a tough opponent still, but I managed to stop him in the later rounds. But he was a good spectacle. It wasn't over quickly. He was a tough guy, and he was a gypsy. He was just like Tyson. So
did you ever get to meet?
I have met him kind of. He was at a function, but I think he was
just off.
He's busy, and he has people left, right, and center
all the time,
like trying to get up to him, get a photo with him, talk to him. And I know what it was like, and I'm not someone to go in and try and get something.
What do you think about the entertainment side of boxing right now? There's boxing, and then there's the Tyson Furies and the organized fights that's going on.
Now with all the YouTubers, like Davis is going to be fighting Jake Paul on Netflix.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
That just got announced.
Look, I don't even know how that fight happened.
I've been raging about it for like the last couple of weeks.
Silly. That's a massive guy against a little boxer.
So this is why I asked, have you ever... things don't make any sense to me anymore. It used to be in weight classes all the time and it was organized. But since of late, that's why I said I wouldn't be surprised if you actually fought
There's
Fury.
boxing, and then there's boxing circus. Sometimes the circus draws more money and more crowd. And that's the bad part about the sport.
When did that start? Because it always...
Surely it was McGregor crossing over from the UFC.
Potentially.
That was kind of when it became huge, because I remember that was like a
People have been doing it for years though, right?
Yeah. Has it been? Because I don't think I've ever noticed. I've seen boxing, if you could put it in that way, like the cricket of the sport, it's very disciplined and very technical.
But you know that works because you've got crossover guys from other sports that go, oh, I'll have a boxing fight, and they're super popular. You have whole nights of footy players fighting because people want to watch it. But then you have the likes of Gallen and Sonny Bill and all these other guys that actually are pretty good. Yeah. They are decent at boxing because they're naturally gifted and obviously naturally talented, but it's just probably a little bit too late for them, but they do all right.
Yeah. But no, I would say probably McGregor crossing over to fight Mayweather was like the
mainstream.
That was the mainstream, and then you had like the Paul brothers come over, and they just started calling out everyone, anyone, and they were calling out other athletes, and they just had such a huge following on YouTube.
Yeah, but are these fights even real? That's what really.
Look, I hate to admit it, man, because I've watched Jake Paul from when he started to now. Yeah. And look, I'm not going to comment on the Mike Tyson fight because that was a sham. I'm not going to.
I was getting there because that was
It was hot. It was hard to watch. But like Jake Paul is actually like a decent boxer. But should he be fighting like Davis or like any? No, absolutely not.
Well, how do they make that interesting and even? The size difference in the guys, it's going to make a big difference in it.
Absolutely. That's what I was surprised when you guys were surprised when I said, "Have you ever fought?"
I don't know how they sanction these things. I don't know how they're getting over the line.
Yeah,
but he owns his own like pay-per-view stuff. Like he owns his own promotion. So Jake Paul comes in and goes, "Hey, you want some of the pay-per-view, and we're going to make millions of dollars."
As long as people are willing to pay for it, as long as there's an audience, I think it's entertainment. Right?
I hate it because I'm going to watch it.
Let's change things up a little bit.
No. Before we go, I want to ask about the one you didn't want to talk about.
No, I don't want to talk about it. Upset me.
What about you, Jeff? What do you think?
Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
Yeah, it was a money grab. It was a money grab from both of them. Mike Tyson was a part of it.
Tyson didn't lose that fight, right?
Well,
there's no way.
He's not Mike Tyson, though.
That
wasn't Mike Tyson.
Even 10% of Mike Tyson would have been.
He's a 60-year-old man.
I know. Even then, but did you see him train? The training?
No. There's no way. Like,
so you guys reckon here, genuinely?
Jake Paul would definitely, just the age difference doesn't matter.
Jake Paul will get him.
Yeah, Jake Paul would have got him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Like,
unfortunately, age, it matters.
Okay. All right, we can move on now. I just wanted to ask that because it's been in my head.
Hoping, as you were saying, I was hoping when we watched that, I was like, come on, Mike.
You wanted
get out there, smash him, knock him out. Please, for the sport.
Just shut him up.
Then you watch them and you're like, this is not even a fight. This is them mucking around with each other and getting paid millions.
Sparring match.
Yeah.
Sparring match.
I wanted to find out about how you handle public criticism.
Mm-hmm.
And I know obviously you've had plenty of wins, but then there's always, with every win, there's going to come some haters. And how did you deal with that? And in particular now with social media?
Look, you're never going to go through your life and do everything perfect. I guess that's what you've got to just know, and everyone's got to know that just living through life is you're not going to be perfect all the time, and you're going to make mistakes, and that's what I did in the boxing world. I made mistakes, and sometimes it didn't go to plan, and I lived with it, and I mentally accepted things that I needed to work on and improve on. And it didn't matter if you have every man and their dog dissing you. It's like, don't worry, I know. I don't need to read your comments because I know in myself I might have screwed up, but I can do better. And that's what I did. I would always strive forward.
I was going to say, sitting at home with a world champion belt around you probably helps heaps as well. Like, yeah, guys, I'd be reading through that with that.
It's like I have done it.
Yeah.
Like I have been there.
Yeah.
I've got to the pinnacle of the sport. I don't need you now as an armchair expert to tell me that I'm crap.
I can see you, Ryan, Sunday afternoon on the lounge chair. You've got your belt on, feeling pretty good about yourself. Is that
Is that what you do on a Sunday afternoon?
Dude, I Sunday morning, I'm out. I've got the grill on. I got the belt on around. Ask Jenny, look at her. She's
so it is true. It is true.
Dude, everyone, that's what the belts are for. You got the memo as well? They say, please wear this.
You turn up to a barbecue, Jeff, with a belt on?
Look, I take my belt around to a lot of schools and show it off to the kids, and they get
good on you, mate.
a high from it. So that's great.
That's talking about schools and kids. You know, we talked about your experience with bullying as a kid. I'm reading the T-shirt Bullyproof. I'm assuming now you're doing something to prevent that from happening for future generations.
Yeah.
Like, is that trying to?
It's all about education, right? The more we know, the smarter we are, and the less normally bad things that can kind of happen to us.
So, what is Bullyproof? What do you do?
So we've got a program in schools that helps with easing the conflict that kind of happens, because conflict happens everywhere, no matter what. It's part of learning and growing, but some people mismanage that conflict and do something stupid when it kind of comes to them, and that's when things can escalate out of control, and you can have coward punches and people dying out there. So it's they're just bullying left, right, and center, and then that person ends up taking their own life. And we want to teach people how to treat each other better, and that normally starts from a very young age. So we start the program with the prep kids or the grade 1 kids at schools, and take it all the way through to grade 12.
Is this something you've always wanted to do because of your experience as a kid?
Look, no, this hasn't been something I was like from the get-go going, I want a program in schools. It's just kind of come at me left field, and going, I would be good at this. Like, after becoming a world boxing champion, it's like people would listen to what I've got to say. So I had been through tough times. I'd said it through my boxing career in the school days, but now it's about, I guess, giving back and making sure the next generation aren't broken when they get older.
How do you think bullying has changed in the new age? Technology's changed everything, and kids can't escape it these days. Back in the day, you could go to school, go home, nothing, go play with the kids across the street or whatever. But now you're getting buzzed left, right, and center, and people could be online bullying you. So that's the thing, right? Like, you could have an argument with a kid in school, and then you go home, and then you start again. You probably haven't experienced this, but for us, growing up in a different generation before the internet,
I didn't really get bullied. I just
he was a bully.
Yeah,
I was going to say, if you didn't,
we'll get bullied.
No. I
one of the lucky 70.
No, I was really, really lucky. My entire year was probably, we were all friends with each other. We still have a Facebook group. We catch up with each other. I'd like literally probably very, very fortunate. So
you're on the Sunshine Coast too. So I think do you think that beach lifestyle is there just as much bullying, Jeff, on the coastal towns?
I think bullying happens everywhere.
Well, Dicky Beach, we just had like a bunch of, this was like a few days ago, 14 to 17-year-olds, like 10 of them beat up an old man, like quite like, so like youth crime is on the rise. And, I've worked a lot with like the youth justice. I see a lot in the disability sector, and it is getting worse and worse and worse, especially in Australia, knife crime, all those types of things. So especially now that we have technology, I think that accessibility that kids have to each other to be able to harm each other and what they're exposed to, it's not the same. Like before, people were worried about, kids playing Grand Theft Auto and watching, bad movies. Now they have a phone from 12 years old.
Yeah. And the and what they can see on that phone is the amount of information that they can get at their age that their brain probably can't really handle.
But every generation's been afraid of the new, right? I remember the Beatles were the Antichrist. Then when I was growing up, it was you can listen to the lyrics back to front, and you were listening to the Devils. But I think we're at a real crossroads right now.
Well, social media is not necessarily going to ruin the youth, but we've made that now that it's a ban. It's a ban on kids to be using Facebook, which I think is a great thing. So
is it going to work?
Yeah, look, it solves some problems, but
Yeah.
look, they'll find a way. There's normally always a way with technology to find a way around it. But as long as you can kind of cure majority of it, then a lot of the problems will probably drop.
Well, if we can go into your program a little bit more, and like I'd be very very interested from my experiences, because I find like a lot of the kids, once they're given a little bit more time, a little bit more understanding, and actually educated on these things, as you said, once you're actually educated. I remember for me, training boxing, you don't put your hands on anyone outside of the ring ever. Like, and I'm sure it was the same. You just don't do that. It's just it's not even in your hindsight. You go to the ring, you fight in the ring, you spar with your partners. You do not do that anywhere else. You just it doesn't even cross your mind. So is that the type of thing that's like your program's trying to teach kids, or is like how do you guys implement?
Yeah, we go right back in the program. Like we go right back to thoughts and feelings of the kids when they're younger, because that's where it all starts, right? And if you're feeling this way, sometimes people get angry and they might say something stupid or do something bad to you or someone else. It's like, it's just how you react to that. So it's teaching them, okay, bad things will happen. What's this person going through? What's happened to them? So kind of try and think and process about why this action might be happening to them, so they don't just quickly lash back out and
so like a cause and effect, and creating that empathy for kids and understanding. Yeah, awareness. That's
there's so much awareness out there of like, don't bully, but people are like, well,
why not?
Yeah, it's like, well, what is bullying?
Kids don't really, have the skills to be able to do that inherently, unless they're taught by their parents. Exactly. And you're actually taught these skills.
And then parents are so busy these days as well. It's hard for parents sometimes to get it all out and all the information they need. So we need to be teaching the kids in school, I guess, proper behaviors of what's expected.
Yeah.
Speaking of family, you've obviously family man now, 2 kids.
3.
3. How old are they?
I've got a 8, 6, and 3, basically.
Yeah. So how do you balance? Obviously, back in your fighting days, you had to be quite aggressive in the ring, and you were clearly being able to compartmentalise that. And then once you step out of that ring, like you were saying, Ryan, and then now being a family man.
Look, it's the best job in the world, I guess. Some people, I love being a parent, love bringing up my girls, and couldn't think of anything better to do.
Yep.
Mate, have you actually retired now?
From boxing, yeah, sure. Unless they came out with some ridiculous offer, as you were saying before, like
so
with the YouTuber or something.
Yeah.
I felt like, I could easily.
Jake Paul, Jeff Horn's here. Just saying, 50 million on the line.
If I was get some stupid offer like that, then of course, like, you've got to think about that, right? It's like, if I'm going to go give out $1 million to someone, people will be like, yeah, me. I'd be the same thing if I was going to, if YouTube
6
like
months
Jake
training.
Paul, like, yep,
off you go.
I'll give you a fight, give you $10 million or whatever, or a percentage of the pay-per-view to come. I was just like, sure, let's do it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So when you retired, I know that when I stepped down from a fairly high position I had and entered into another phase of my life, I went through a bit of an identity crisis, because people that I knew when I had that role, they associated me with that particular role, not with obviously the person that I was. How's that been for you? Like, you, Jeff Horn, world boxing champion, and as soon as you pulled the gloves off and you retired, how have you gone through yourself with personal struggles for your identity?
Yeah, I guess you do. You at times I do go through and you're like, oh gosh, like no one knows who I am anymore, and it's just like, what have I got to do? Have I got to go back and have another boxing fight or something? I don't want to do.
Just put your belt on and start walking around, mate. Then
there's a club.
I'll be getting some strange looks, I reckon, as well. But I don't know. You just, I guess, deal. It's just something I've had to deal with, right?
It probably almost like nice in a way as well, just to be able to relax.
To disappear. That's what you want, right? Like you want to disappear into the sunset, yes.
Yeah.
And people just to forget who you were, and you can just live a normal life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you go, wait, like this this fame and fortune part, if I'm able to keep that going, that's obviously opportunities that you're letting go. So you're like,
it's the opportunities, right? More than anything else. But there's some people who build their whole identity around what they do. Some sports people, it's just like that's their identity. They don't know anything.
Yeah, I guess I was lucky enough that I did boxing for a certain amount of time, and the whole point of boxing is the showmanship of it, but then to win. And I was able to win, get the money, get out with my health. And
Pity there's not a mastering program like Don here sitting next to me, 48-year-old over 400 metres.
Yes.
And
over how many meters?
400.
Your particular sport, what's the oldest guy that's doing masters athletics?
I think the last time I checked, there was a 99-year-old guy running.
So you never have to retire. So Don's never ever going to go through any identity crisis because he's still running.
But I think there's a big difference, right? One's getting punched in the face. The other one is just doing what you're born to do, run. So there are certain things you can keep doing when you get old. But I would not probably advocate someone to be punching each other at 99 years of age. It's a big difference.
Yeah. No, I have to agree with Don there. Like, man, my last fight, that first round, man, I've never wanted to be out of the ring more in my life. But
And he's how old?
26. I had to think about that. See, look at that. It's already coming in.
So what do you do nowadays? Like, let's talk about longevity and sustainability, because you're still taking care of yourself and you're obviously doing the program that you're doing throughout the schools. But just from a physical and mental perspective, what do you get up to?
Oh, look, it's a lot of playing with the kids, to be honest. Like, that's where I save my energy for the afternoons when they come home, and I can throw them around and run around with them. But I'm starting to get to the point where I get closer and closer to go, okay, I've got to do something. I actually played touch footy the other night, filled in for my wife's touch team, the mixed touch team, which, it was exhausting, but she said that I wasn't going to be able to do it, and I'm here now. I can say it on podcasts that I did do it.
I saw him.
I saw it wrong once again.
Did you guys win?
No.
Okay.
We didn't win, but that doesn't matter. The result doesn't matter. The result is I was able to play.
I didn't see you walk in. Were you limping? Just checking.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you stand up for us?
No, it was fine. It was probably a couple of weeks ago now, but it was.
And he's just recovered.
Yeah.
So what about legacy? What's that look like for you? What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, look, if what I'm doing now and changing lives, sure, people are going to remember the boxing, but when I get messages on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, and I get kids messaging me sometimes and go, "You've saved my life," like I was going to throw it all away. Wow. That's what changes you, right? It gives you goosebumps thinking about that's the type of influence you can have on people, and that's what I can have these days. And why not use that as much as I can in these schools and with school children to kind of change lives?
I think it's fantastic.
Man, that's amazing. And that's, again, for me, I think that's one of the biggest. I'm the dad of 2 daughters. Like, one of the biggest fears I had was the bullying part, because that's where, as a society, we're failing, is that piece.
Yeah.
Where, you can't, when you see kids just giving up on life because they couldn't get along in society, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. That's why we're here to educate the teachers and students out there and get a program that will change their way of thinking.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's getting kids as well more accustomed to adversity as well, and how to overcome it. And like, your stories are probably one of the pinnacle examples. I remember being 18 and having my mum call me going, "What, did you just watch that fight? That was insane." And I was like, "I'm watching it right now." But like, you yourself, almost the narrative that you brought of like, you can overcome anything. Yeah. Like, no matter how bad it looks or how.
And that's what I want people to think, right? Like, I'm just literally, I'm an ordinary guy and I did an extraordinary thing. And that's what I want other people to think, because a lot of people out there think I'm just ordinary. I can't do anything spectacular like that. It's like, yes, you can. So all you got to do is believe in yourself.
Is there anything?
Massive believer in that. In I think we all have unlimited potential. And I think it's fantastic that you're able to get in there at the schools, because I still remember back, like when Glenn sat you down and looked you in the eye and said you can be world champion. Yeah, you obviously showed some things, but imagine that turning point in your life if you hadn't met Glenn. He's still a great fighter, but just the impact that he had and having somebody that believes in you. I think you're going along into these schools as well, because I think you're an inspiration.
Yeah, I think it's a crazy moment, I guess, me rocking up to Glenn's gym. I could have gone to any gym, and I think I did go to some other gyms out there, but that relationship and connection and his belief that I could do something crazy in the amount of time that kind of I really wanted to do in the sport was, I guess.
Is there anything you would have done differently in your life?
Oh, definitely not in boxing world, and not underestimating the opponents. I underestimated. Look, there's I guess regrets that I've had for sure in the past when I was probably younger, and the way you treat people. Everyone can probably think back to a time they're like, oh, yeah, I really probably shouldn't have done that or treat that person that way. But I guess they're the type of moments you're like, oh, I wish I could take that back, because I wonder how that person is these days.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Well, if you could rematch, so 2 questions. If you could rematch any one of your opponents, who would you like to rematch?
Rematch. I guess that would have
peak form. Like you're in peak form.
I guess that would have to be Manny again.
Yeah.
That's what people would want. Right?
Yeah.
They would go, well, fight him again. And
there's a $10 million fight for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, but he doesn't want that. And I know he doesn't want it. So I know it's safe for me to probably even say his name, because Manny Pacquiao wants nothing to do with it.
I'm posting that everywhere, by the way.
Have you spoken to him since?
No. I haven't spoken.
I don't
to
think
him.
he wants to. Yeah, I think that was it was a pretty sour little. Yeah,
I don't think he was very happy with me.
No,
I don't know why.
he did not. I don't know why either.
If you could fight anyone, despite weight division, like you got to fight anyone, who would you fight in their peak, and you're at your peak, and weight doesn't matter, you're the same weight?
Do they have to be dead or alive, or doesn't matter?
Yeah, anyone.
I guess it has to be like the Muhammad Ali or the Mike Tysons of the world, like what Jake Paul got to do. He got to live that moment somehow.
Money makes dreams come true.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got enough money, you can just pay them.
Before we go,
and then make more money off it.
Before we go to the quick fire questions, I got to ask you one tough one. This, the last Olympics, we saw some controversial sort of decisions with the gender issue that's happening right now. What's your opinions? I'm divided on it. Like it's,
I think
boxing's one of those ones
if you're a male, you fight a male. If you're a female, you fight a female.
But how do you define a male and female? And we saw that in the Olympics.
Well, then you have another
division.
Another division. Then you create another division, because it's not fair. It's not fair to have a male that is now a female fighting a female. You can't. So you have to create another category.
It's like when you're filling out the forms now. It's male, female, or other.
Well, you're talking about bone structure. Like I've sparred with female fighters that are a million times better than me skill wise, but it's just the physicality. Like even if we're in the same weight, just the punches just do not hit as hard, and you're sitting there. And
what about the females that have different level of testosterone or
different, as Jeff said, different division. It's like performance enhancements. Like, hey, let's get into the ring. I'm going to take a bunch of steroids.
But it's natural, right? Like it's a tough one.
It might be natural, but as we say, we trying to use our brains here. Like we have male, female, and other.
Yeah.
Like we have people that don't know what they are. They're bisexual, or they don't know what they are either. So they're in the middle. Then you create the category that they think.
Yeah. The tough part for me, at the end of the day, something like boxing, it's dangerous, first of all. And once you sort of even go a little bit to that side, it becomes, and we saw some of the results at the last Olympics. I'm coming from a track and field piece where women are seeing the other side of it, where there's a small differentiator could make them really fast, but they're still females. They are actual females. So I don't think we're going to find a solution to this. But again, we need to do whatever we can.
Why not just create another category?
Yeah,
if you just create another category, it just solves everything. Okay, well then.
But regardless of what it is, we've got to make sure that everyone's protected, right? Our females are protected. Like we've fought for women's rights for years and years and years, and it seems like we're going.
Everyone should be respected, 100%.
Well, the Special Olympics, they have numerous categories for the same thing. You go to swimming, they've got all these different categories and types of swimming as well.
It's a little bit, yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, it's based off capability, and I agree. I think a new division or like alternative division would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to find an answer to this, and I think it's going to be an argument.
And we are running out of time.
Mate,
quick fire question time. You ready, Jeff?
Yep.
One routine you learned growing up that you still do today?
Clean my room.
What did teaching give you that boxing never could?
Patience.
What's the best piece of advice that you give a terrified 7-year-old kid on Monday morning?
Terrified kid on a Monday morning. Everything's going to be okay. Your teacher loves you.
How do you handle a hater on social media?
Ignore them.
A moment you handle conflict without throwing a punch that you're proud of?
Just, I guess, all the time on social media.
What does a good day look like for you now?
Look, chilling, quiet, and get to play with the kids in the afternoon.
And one habit that you'd like every Australian workplace to adopt this year?
A habit?
Yep.
Keep moving.
What's the most misunderstood thing about bullying?
That it is it's a once-off. It happens. Bullying is something that happens over and over and over again.
If I shadowed you for 24 hours, what small detail would surprise me about you?
Boring I am.
Looking back, what fight taught you the most about yourself?
What fight? Probably my, I guess, is fourth fight in the national titles where I found that where I got pummeled basically by someone, and I was like, okay, now I've learned what it's like to be on the end of a punishment like this.
And if you had to teach an everyday person one principle from boxing to improve their life, what would that be?
That's got to be the discipline part of boxing as well.
Final question, mate. Finish this sentence. Mastery is?
Working hard, failing, but then going again. Keeping on trying.
Well said. It's been an absolute pleasure having you in, mate. Love what you're doing with Bullyproof. You're an absolute inspiration and a world champion. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Mate, did you ever go back to teaching?
No. I'm kind of involved in a way with the schools, right? We're still going there and talking to the kids and the teachers, but no, never went back to classroom teaching.
So when did you finish teaching?
It would have been about 2012 when I went to the London Olympics.
Yeah.
I think after that, when I started professional boxing and started getting paid, I stopped.
You didn't want to
teaching.
go? Okay, fair enough. I wouldn't do.
That's fair.
Because I started getting paid for something else. I was like, I don't need to go to do teaching, a day job, when I was training throughout the day and getting paid. Basically.
Probably one of the toughest jobs, tougher than fighting RGM. I'm married to a teacher, so
yeah, it is a tough job.
Yeah.
They've got it out for themselves these days, especially with how kids are, with what they're learning and their brains and technology.
One of the most noble professions in the world, not respected enough and not paid enough.
100%.
Agreed.
Great.
Mate, cheers.
Thanks, mate. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed this exciting episode of the Mastering Podcast. If you got value from today's conversation, hit that subscribe button now and share this episode with a friend. Until next time.